There are plenty of stadiums with passionate fan bases, but man, you hear about the 12s and you hear about the stadium. And look, when I found out we were coming here as someone who'd never been, I was thrilled. And just sitting in it, it is an astoundingly beautiful place. The way it's constructed, though, it's a chore if you're a road team. You see the record at home. Pete Carroll, by the way, has never lost to Philadelphia as the head coach in Seattle. The crowd roar, 137.6 decibels on Monday Night Football a decade ago. The most false start penalties by opponents at home. They'll get you to
that
jump.
home record.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
Really
good.
good.
Alex Smith's around. Been around here a few times. You've been out on this field, and as you're sitting next to me right now, you got a little PTSD thinking about that, thinking about what happened on
Funny
the
you say
field.
that. Like, I feel like I have so much scar tissue, like nightmares about this place. Like, I'll never forget coming here as a rookie in 2005. I mean, you think you know loud, you can't prepare for this place. Like, again, it was miserable, Scott. Like, again,
well, let's take you back to the misery. Let's get hip deep in the misery. Here we go.
I mean, again, you're shouting to give people like, yes, every place is loud. You're shouting in the huddle, screaming. I mean, you're losing your voice just calling a play.
I'll start.
You're under center. Your guards and tackles can't hear you. Forget about the tight ends. They can't hear you. You know, you're in the shotgun. You're trying to operate, checking plays and motions. It's a disaster. And then on top of it, they have this scoreboard here for everybody at home.
Sure.
That when you get a false start or a delay a game, they add a little ticker up here, and it's like gasoline on a fire, right? Like the crowd just gets louder if it's more possible. And so when you talk, and RG knows, when you talk about operating, you come here and you motions and check with me's, and we're getting from one play to the other. Yep. We're changing protections with the running back. Like, it's a nightmare. No one can hear a thing. And again, you can't simulate it on the practice field. You can turn the music up as loud as you want. It doesn't do it justice.
And then it's misting, and the ball is wet,
let alone that.
Slick, right?
Yeah.
Wait, can you at least appreciate the aesthetics sitting here in a handsome tweed jacket?
Listen, it was beautiful flying in yesterday.
It was. It really
waking
was.
up this morning, and I did have a different appreciation for it. But like playing that tape again, like I don't envy, what if it is Jalen Hurts, which it looks like it might be, like has to do out here again.
Yeah.
It's playing football's hard enough.
All right.
Doing it in this kind of environments.
Yeah, and to your point, Alex, we talk about the communication from an offensive standpoint. When you're at home, a normal snap count is set hut, wide 80, set hut. Yeah. Ball gets snapped, right? But here with the silent count, now you're having to use all that eye candy, all the motion that we talk about that these offenses have been using all season long. All those become incrementally harder because you're on a silent count and your offensive line is having to go off the guard, tapping the hip of the center. So you're constantly a tick behind. Yep. Now imagine if you're an offensive lineman having to block one of these pass rushes. Right. That's going to make it harder. You're a quarterback trying to communicate with your wideouts and your running backs trying to know the calls. It makes everything incredibly harder for you.
Go ahead.
No, and I think there's an area to really keep an eye on. It's the big situations. It's the goal line moments, the short yardage moments, and we know how much Philly loves those.
And Jalen, they say, not the loudest guy to begin with and battling an illness, so it's all things that just magnify the challenge playing here.